Salamun alaikum everyone, wherever you are. Hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're enjoying some of the good stuff in life. Especially as I'm about to talk about this yet again negative topic. So yeah, I hope whoever you are, you're receiving this in the most positive way possible, and that you're doing relatively well, insha'Allah. Okay, so today's topic about SHARR. So earlier this year, before diving into the whole Jerry Marzinski and demonology and all of the looking into all of this, the evil aspect of the world and the reality and what is spoken of in the Quran, that these final two surahs in the Quran seem to be the most important with regards to seeking protection from evil. This was earlier this year, but it seems like I'm now revisiting this. So with these final two surahs here, Surah Al-Falaq, Surah number 113, and Surah 114, An-Nas, at the very end of the Quran, these two surahs mention SHARR 5 times, if I'm correct. Okay, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So Surah Al-Falaq. So Al-Falaq is actually the cleaving. It's some kind of cleaving, so cleaving of the dawn. So when they say daybreak or dawn, Lord of the Dawn, yeah, it's not exactly wrong, but I think falak is something to do with the cleaving of daybreak or the cleaving of dawn. So I seek refuge in the Lord of daybreak from the evil of what he created. Well, actually, so this is the first thing. So I just want to point out some of the corrections from the evil of what was created. So this is what someone commented earlier this year as well. It's not the evil of what Allah necessarily created. So when they say the evil of what he created, that's not quite accurate. It's from the evil of what was created, what was created, from the evil of what was created. Again, I'm just pointing out exactly what the translation should be. There is no he and the evil of what he created. So what do we seek protection from? From the evil of what was created, and from the evil. So that's the first one. So the first evil is from the evil of what was created. So we will be looking at, this video is essentially about this. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. From the evil, apparently this is what the translation says, from the evil of those who practice sorcery. So practice is not there, sorcery is not there. So it's worth looking into, what is this exactly? Because if these final two surahs mention evil 5 times, SHARR. So if you look at it, you've got SHARR. So here's SHARR here. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And what do they say SHARR is? Yeah, evil. Yeah. So there's no doubt SHARR is evil. Something malicious, as it says here. Wicked, evil, malicious. Yeah. Okay, so that's 4 SHARRs here. And then when you go to the final surah, you got the final SHARR here. So those who will have watched the Jerry conversation, the Jerry podcast, you'll remember that this is the one that Jerry was very familiar with, this surah, and evil from the sneaky whisperer. And he believed that in his work, that this basically summed up the reality of what we live in. So it's very important to look at this. This is what Jerry said, that this surah that he was presented with, it basically summed up the reality of what he knows to be true. So it's worth looking at, because we've got evil mentioned 5 times in these final 2 surahs. So, and the other reason why I looked at this is because people are busy trying to memorize certain invocations or du'as that they call it, that come from the traditional side of Islam, which isn't necessarily accurate, and they spend their time trying to memorize these invocations or these surahs, these invocations that don't come from the Quran, when it doesn't make sense, that you're ignoring the most important thing, which is these final 2 surahs, which basically, because if you're told to say qul, it's a call call, yeah, call. So when people are trying to seek protection, it really should be about what is within these two final surahs, because as I just showed, there's 5 times being mentioned here the word SHARR. Okay, so the first one, yeah, from the evil of what was created, not from the evil of what he created. That's not in the translation. It's from the evil of what was created. So we're seeking refuge in the Lord of Al-Falaq. What is Al-Falaq? Al-Falaq is some kind of cleaving. I think Falikul Isbah. So that is the cleaving of the daybreak. So you'll understand what Falik is. It's a cleaving. So in that sense, it's correct. Lord of the cleaving, or you could say Lord of the the cleaving of daybreak, basically the cleaving of morning, the cleaving of the daylight, because it's the darkness we're seeking protection from. So Allah is the light, as we know. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. So it's the Lord of the Lord of the light, essentially, which comes after the darkness, from the evil of what was created. So that's the first evil. The second evil being وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. So from the evil of dusk or twilight. So that's what this is. Ghasiq is not necessarily dark, but it still gets the point across. Ghasiq is something to do with dusk or twilight. So if you think of from dusk till dawn, and again this is what Jerry says, that these voices increase once it approaches sunset. So, and those who know the movies, from dusk till dawn, when the vampires and the demons come out, when all the evil takes place, it makes sense. So we're seeking protection from the Lord of Light, essentially, because during the daylight there's obviously less evil. It's not that there's no evil, there's definitely less evil, and they don't like the light. We know that demons don't like sunlight, and we can understand why sunlight is being restricted upon us today. From the evil of what was created. So that's the first evil, from the evil of what was created. Then it goes into detail, I guess you could say. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. And from the evil of the dusk, basically. So that's dusk, the darkness at dusk time. So we're seeking, it actually goes quite well, we're seeking protection from the Lord of Dawn, from the evil that takes place at dusk, from dusk till dawn. So from the evil of when it comes before us. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. So I'm going to go into this one. That's what this whole recording is about. I'm doing this spur on the moment, so hopefully it makes sense. So I'll come to this one, but it's definitely not. Within here, there is no practice, there is no sorcery. So it's worth looking into what is naffathat and what is al-uqad. So that's the next SHARR. So how many SHARRs is that? 1, 2, and that's the third SHARR. And then the fourth SHARR is... So that one is not those who practice sorcery and blow knots. But let's look at the fourth one and the fifth one before I come back to this one. So the fourth one being وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. So hasid. So this evil. So this is definitely envy. There's no doubt about this. This is envy. It's interesting, green-eyed. So definitely probably want to keep away from me then in that case, if that's true. So وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. I don't think, there must be a reason why green-eyed is there, but it doesn't mean that you have to seek protection from green-eyed people. But I do think that there's something to this, about the green entity, as again Jerry mentions, the green entity that some people see. I think those who smoke cannabis or those who are in touch with other frequencies and realms, they see the green entity. There's something to this, the whole reptilian side, the whole snake venom, reptilian, green, there's something to all of this that is definitely a reality of the unseen realm, essentially the unseen demonic realm, the jinn realm. So وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. And from the evil of, is that an envier? Well, it's not the envier when he envies. And from the evil of an envier. So I do think actually Iblis is the first one. This is just my opinion. I think Iblis is the first one that envied. And he envied us. He envied us as a creation. And I think what all of his followers do is insert this into us. They insert this into us. They whisper this into us. I think this is just my opinion. And from the evil of an envier when he envies. So this is a reality of us. We're all weak. We're all open to these sins. We're all open to, as they say, the 7 deadly sins. This is definitely one of them. Envy. So this is what it is. We have to regularly seek protection. This is why Salah, people see Salah. They ask about Salah because they're concerned, because they know that we need to seek protection. We all do. I do. Yeah, none of us are. As it says in the Quran, do not call yourselves pure. Yeah, do not call yourselves pure. Not one of you is pure. Allah makes pure whom He wills, or Allah purifies whom He wills. Not one of us is pure. So we have to seek protection. This is why it's here. Otherwise, if we didn't need it, it wouldn't be there. So anyway, so وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. And yeah, this is a very big thing, this envy. Maybe on another occasion. But yeah, I do think social media, I felt it from the introduction of social media. Yeah, I felt sick from the beginning, and I feel probably worse today than I did 10 years ago. Anyway, so that's envy for you. That's hasid. So yeah, that's the 4th one. And then, so a big envy does come from Ahl al-Kitab. So the people of the book, and then the people of the book, Ahl al-Kitab, is all of us. Again, if you're new to this, you might want to look at the previous video. I've kind of mentioned it there, or even another conversation with Brother Igor on Bani Israel. Yeah, we are all Bani Israel. We are all Ahl al-Kitab, those who've received the scripture from the heavens above, from the Creator. So we are all the people of the Book of Allah. We are all the children trying to escape the oppression from Pharaoh today. Not those of the past, because the whole book of the Quran is guidance for us to learn from the lessons of those of the past, so that we can replicate that for our situation today. But yes, we are all Ahl al-Kitab today, and we are all Bani Israel today. But the point I'm making is that yes, there is a big envy amongst Ahl al-Kitab, those who follow the Book of Allah. So there is that in the Quran as well. So the 5th one being here in the final surah. So before I get to that, so say I seek again. Say. So we're supposed to say. We're supposed to call. Yeah, that's what we call. We're supposed to say. So this is your dua essentially. When Allah says call, this is your dua. Call. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. So those who are familiar with A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, I seek refuge with Allah or in Allah from ash-shaitanir rajim, from the accursed Satan, from the outcast, the one who was expelled. So that's what this is. We're seeking refuge with the Lord of An-Nas, the Lord of mankind, the Lord of humankind. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, malikin nas, the King of mankind, ilahin nas, the deity of mankind, ilahin nas, min sharril waswasil khannas. So this is the 5th shar now. So one more time, there's 5 shars within these final 2 surahs. 4 of them is in 113, and the 5th one is in 114. So this is probably the most important one to understand. This is the one that caught Jerry's attention. Min sharril waswasil khannas. So the shar from this, I think this is something to do with retreating. So when I was doing, again, going back to like almost 2 years ago when I began the cosmology study, is that the planets not the planets that we understand today, the stars, is it the retreating stars? I don't know what this is exactly, but it seems to be something to do with retreating or withdrawing. So the withdrawing whisperer is my opinion in this, the withdrawing whisperer, and that's who Iblis is. That's what his mini demons do. The minions, that's what they do. They follow in his way. Whisper and retreat. Withdraw. So they just need to whisper that thing and get it working in you and let your nafs do the rest of the job. They just need to insert that into you successfully. Until it's successfully inserted, they would want to continuously try. So I'll get to that, what I mean by that. Min sharril waswasil khannas. Okay, so from that's the fifth shar. So this is from the... So this isn't too bad a translation actually, the sneaky whisperer. So I would say the withdrawing whisperer or the retreating whisperer. Or, well, waswas is actually something to do with, as it says here, obsessiveness. So that's where actually, I think even in the Arab world, the Arab speaking world, they will recognize OCD as being something to do with waswas. Why do they think that? Because they recognize that, OCD is not a mental illness as such. It's a demon influence. It's a demonic influence. It's a demonic malady. It's a demonic illness, basically, because that person has succumbed or has been severely afflicted by the whispers. OCD is essentially obsessive compulsive disorder. So what does that mean? It's obsessions that are repeatedly circulating in a compulsive way that send a person into a disorder. So if you understand it like that, rather than some kind of DSM categorized illness that they give us from the Mental Health Institute, if you understand it from a demonic influence, you understand that it's a whisper from the unseen realm that has successfully inserted into us, that doesn't belong to us, that masquerades as our own voice, as our own thoughts, and then circulates. And again, this is why we need all of these tools to recorrect ourselves, to bring ourselves back to our true selves. Okay, so min sharril waswasil khannas alladhi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas. Yep, who whispers into the, not the hearts. So this is sudur. So this is the chests. So this is very important, because that's what this is. We seek protection from the obsessive, whispering, sneaky withdrawer. But where does he whisper? He doesn't whisper into our minds. He whispers in to our chests. Healing. Allah heals our chests. Why is this? Allah says He heals our chests. Allah could have said He heals something else, but Allah says that He heals our chests. Why does Musa alayhi salam say Rabbi shrah li sadri, expand my chest? It's all about the breath and the chest, the spirit that is breathed into the chest. And what resides in our chest? It's our heart. So what does Iblis do? Him and his minions, they whisper into our chest. They whisper into our chest whispers of shamefulness, whispers of eternity, living forever. So these whispers are what stay within us obsessively. Whispers of shamefulness. These are the main two. Whispers of shamefulness and whispers of eternity. So you could say that that's what the world succumbs to. The desire to live forever, or the obsession of, or the distraction as if you're going to live forever, and the distraction of doing shameful things. So these whispers are whispered into our chest, and this is where our electrical vortex, you could say, the heart, resides. So this is possibly where the wind, rih, of our spirit, ruh, resides. So I think it's very interesting that Iblis, he whispers into our chests. This is where our ruh, in my opinion, resides. This is where the breath, the wind of our spirit resides. Where our primary origin of thought, thinking from the heart. This is where, I believe it's in our chest where our original thought takes place, or maybe even the stomach, you could say, before it's processed in our brain. So now I think this is where our psyche is, our nafs. I think our psyche is our nafs. Our nafs is our psyche. This is why we're told to kill kill ourselves literally, but kill our nafs, kill our mind, our thinking, the way we're thinking. That's what we're told to do, because it's wrong thinking. We've taken on, lots of lies, lots of indoctrination. So that's what we're told to do. Kill our thinking, kill our psyche. Kill yourself before you die. Die before you die. And it's this whisper that we allow to repeatedly repeat itself obsessively. So it's these whispers that we allow to repeatedly repeat itself obsessively. So this is where the Quran verse comes in that says that our nafs whispers to ourselves. Yeah, this is what it is. It's our nafs that whispers. But how does our nafs whisper? Where does it originate from? Where does this whisper originate from? I think this is where it originates from. It originates from Iblis, first of all, inserting that. So I think it's jetted into our thought stream, you could say. Interesting, jetted. I'll get to that. So if you look back at this, when they speak about, so as you see, an-nafathati, the jets. So I think it's actually jetted into our thought stream. So this is the contracts, but again, I'll come back to that. And it's this whisper that we allow to repeatedly loop. So when a lot of things takes place unconsciously. Those who are somewhat awake to the world and the reality today will recognize a lot of things take place unconsciously. So it's all about, the Quran is calling us to become conscious, become aware, become people of taqwa, become awake, recognize the truth, the conspiracies that are within the Quran and the world today. So and it's this whisper. So when Iblis or his minions, they whisper these things into our chest, which then I believe go into our brain, our CPU, our psyche, and becomes part of ourselves without us. Yeah, if we don't do the correct meditations, we don't do the, let's say, the journaling, the thinking, the removing the things that don't belong to us, that we blindly accept are our beliefs or our agreements. So, and it's this whisper that we allow to repeatedly repeat itself obsessively, and this is how our psyche, our nafs whispers, obsessions, repeatedly, compulsively, sending us into disorder. So it's until we awaken, acknowledge the truth in the Quran, our occulted demonic reality, and free ourselves from our own oppression by choosing to remain asleep. That's how we oppress ourselves, by choosing to remain asleep, by repeatedly accepting all of these things that have been inserted into us, that have been jetted into our thought stream, and we believe are our own thoughts or our own beliefs or our own agreements, which don't belong to us. So that's what it is. A lot of people who've been following what we've been doing will recognize it's not just about removing the toxins from our food and our diet and our air and our water and all of these things. It's removing the toxins from our beliefs, from our religious beliefs that don't belong to us, that aren't in the Quran. So that's what it is. Once it's whispered into our chests, I believe the plan is for it to effectively pass through into our CPU, into our brain, and become part of our psyche, our nafs, which is aspiring against ourselves. This is what I believe. I believe our nafs, our psyche, it's aspiring. The nafs is aspiring. The nafs is our psyche, and it's aspiring. It's working against our ruh, our spirit, which is breathed into us. So that's what it is. I believe our nafs is working against our ruh. Our psyche is working against our spirit. Okay, so now back on to number 3 of the sharrs. So the third sharr, which was this one. So as they say, and from the evil of those who practice sorcery. So what is this nafathat and what is this al-uqad? So again, thanks to the brother who inspired me with this to have a look at this earlier today. Yep, okay, so not those who practice sorcery, not those who blow knots, but it's not entirely untrue as well from what I can see. So we're going to look at that. Okay, so if you look here in Quran Corpus, so if we go to 1134 and you look at nafathat, so nafathat is only once, so that's why it's a hard one to exactly understand what this is, but it's not blow. I'll come to that. But uqad will definitely help, because that one, uqad, comes a total of 7 times. So uqad comes 7 times. uqad, the root of uqad, is used 7 times. As you can see here, they've decided that these 4 occurrences are knots, but these 2 are contracts, and that's a pledge. And a pledge is basically a contract. So you could say that this root is used either as knots or contract. I do believe it's both, but I believe there's a separation. So if you look at uqdat, so if you look at the one with the ta, I think uqdat, the one with the ta, is knots, but the one without is a contract. So al-uqad, like here bil-uqud, is contracts. So this is correct contracts, but I think this one actually does not belong here. This is just my opinion, because as you can see here, you got the ta and the ta and the ta. So the feminine ta marbuta, if I'm correct. So this one doesn't actually belong here. I think this one actually is contracts, just like this one is contracts, bil-uqud, yeah, by contracts. This one actually should be knots. So as far as I've understood, so there's 7 occurrences, so we can basically simplify these 7 occurrences using this uqad. Yeah, there's either the one with the ta or the one without, and so I think it's knots. It's either knots or contracts. So the one with the ta is actually knots. I think it's knots. So knots of your faith. Yeah, upon our iman. What does that mean? So yeah, you can understand what knots means in terms of something that you've tied or something that you've bound. So knots in our iman likened to the knots of nikah. So the knots of nikah are marriage, yeah. So the knots of nikah likened to the knots of iman. So that's 4 out of 7 done. So if you look at that, knots of iman or aymanukum, oaths or faith, whichever they are exactly, faith or iman, aymanukum, your oath, faith. But yeah, so like these knots of iman likened to the knots in nikah. It's ties, it's binding, you know, you've intertwined. You can say that yes, essentially you've made a contract. But this one I think is knots, the one with the ta, but the one without the ta is contracts. So therefore, yeah, what does Musa alayhi salam actually say? Wahlul uqdatam min lisani. So loosen the knot from my tongue. Yeah, loosen the knot from my tongue, from my speaking, my tongue. So loosen, so yeah, resolve the knot from my tongue. So if you understand that, so that is definitely not. But this one, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. So this one is actually contract, just like this one is bil-uqud and al-uqad. So this one is actually contract. So again, the knots on our faith, marriage and tongue, just like the knot of Musa alayhi salam, as you can see here, this is the knot from his tongue, from his speaking. Resolve the knot on my speaking, on my tongue. So that's what that is. The knot that he was asking Allah to resolve or loosen from his tongue is the same knot of nikah, the same knot of iman. But this one, naffathat fil uqad, wa min sharrin naffathat fil uqad, this is, so this one, wa min sharrin naffathat fil uqad, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu awfu bil uqud. So this one, fulfill your contracts. So fulfill your contracts. So yeah, there's only 2 in my opinion from these 7. I've gone through 4. So 5 of them are basically knots. 5 of them are actually knots. So 2 are marriage, 2 are iman, and 1 is on the tongue. But they are all, those 5 are knots. So knots on our faith, knots in our knots of marriage, and knots in the tongue, something that you've tied or bound. And that's why contracts is part of that same root. But these 2 I believe are contracts. So the evil of something, naffathat fil, in the contracts, just like we're supposed to fulfill our contracts. Bil awfu bil uqud. Contracts we hold in agreement upon. Naffathat, I think, as it says here, the jets, I think it's something to do with high pressure. Yeah. So if you think of of even a snake, a venom, when that venom is spat out, it's high pressure. It's jetted out. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly. I'm just sharing this for people to, yeah, just ponder over these verses. I'm not pontificating that I know exactly what this is. I'm just kind of sharing this, and people can decide what they think this is. I'm just trying to elucidate what this clearly is, and just kind of remind people that these are the 5 evils that we should be focused on in these final 2 surahs. So they say, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. So they say it's the evil of those who practice sorcery, but there is no sorcery and there is no practice. So is that even a correct interpretation? It could be a correct interpretation, but it's not a correct translation. So this is contract and this is the jets. So what does that mean? That sounds strange. So I think it's something high pressure, because what is a jet? It's some kind of high pressure. So it's something jetted in the contracts. So I think it's high pressure. Again, if you think of the snake, the venom, there's jetted out. So what is this? وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. So it seems to be something high pressured in the contracts. So even though they say blowing and now they say breathing here, it's not quite right. Nafatha is a difficult one because it's only mentioned once. This whole root is only once in the Quran. And as you can see, it's got jets here, it's got blowers, breathing, but yeah, that's not quite right, because I will show what is actually blowing. Right, so if you look into the dictionary, so here I'm using one source as a dictionary to understand what this root could be, nafatha. So the one that stood out to me is this eject, something that's ejected from the mouth, as it says here. So you got whisper, something occultic, some kind of suggestion into the heart. All of this seems to give the right idea, in my opinion. But what is it specifically? It's something, I think, ejected into someone's heart or into someone's mind. Something not quite inspired. Inspired is more positive. You could say evil inspiration, but I think whisper, some evil whisper into the mind, something ejected or something jetted into the thought stream. Something, yep. So that's from one dictionary, and from here, right, so nafakha is actually what people will be familiar with. That is the blowing. So our spirit is actually blown into us. So that's nafakha, but nafatha, which is this one here, nafatha, is something, as it says here, spit, discharge, squirt out. So you can picture like a snake, a venom, jetting its venom out. And that's what I think this is. This word is something evil being jetted out. It's something evil being, jetted into the thought stream, essentially. As it says here, jet. You've got jets here, jet plane, jet propulsion, something jetted into us. Jets. As you can see, jets comes up. And if I put that, jets. So you can see that jets comes up. And what is that exactly? It's a jet plane, I believe. Yeah, jet aircraft. So it's definitely something jet. It's agreed upon that that word nafathati is something jetted. So if you look at that, jetted, in my opinion, I think it's snake venom jetted. So if you think about it, some kind of snake venom jetted, the venom that's spat out. So I think it's like that. But if you think of the demons, I think that's basically what they're doing with the thought stream. They're jetting some kind of evil whisper into the thought stream. This is what I think this is. Let me go back to this. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. So into the contracts. So the contracts, what does that mean exactly? Yeah. So the contracts that we place upon ourselves, that we think are binding upon us, I don't know. But yeah, I find it very interesting that this is something spat out. So is that some kind of high pressure in the contracts, or some kind of spitting in the contracts that we place upon our own selves? that we agree upon ourselves. Yeah, either way, it's not those who practice sorcery blowing knots. It's some kind of something jetted in the contracts. So again, if you just look at the context, that should give you the idea. So it's evil. We're seeking refuge in the Lord of Light from the evil of what is created, and from the evil that gathers from dusk time, from dusk till dawn essentially. So what takes place at night time? As Jerry says, it's those evil whispers that increase. So from the evil that is spat, I think, into our thought stream, the contracts that we place upon ourselves in our life from the very beginning to now, the things that we agree upon that aren't necessarily true. Is it some kind of high pressure in the contract, or is it something jetted into our thought streams that we make a contract in our own thoughts, in our beliefs? I don't know, but something to think about. But the main thing is we should seek protection from the 5 evils that are within these 2 surahs. From the evil of what was created, from the evil of what was created, min sharri ma khalaq, from the evil of dusk, twilight, darkness as it comes before us, wa min sharri ghasikin idha waqab, from wa min sharri nafathat fil uqad, from the jetted evil in the contracts, in our belief agreements, in our things that we've agreed upon that aren't necessarily true, that's been jetted into our thought stream as far as I can see. And from the evil of an envier when he envies. This is a big one, and there is big envy, so people should recognize there's big envy from the people of the book, from the people of the book of Allah. So we do have to seek protection. We do have to seek protection from envy, from the obsessive whispering, sneaky withdrawer. So that's the big one. From the obsessive whispering, al-waswas, whisper. You can see that in that word itself, al-waswas, whisper. So from the evil of the obsessive whispering, sneaky withdrawer. And that's what OCD is essentially. And this whisper is placed in our chests, in the chests of mankind. So that's it. I'll leave you with that. Ponder over these 5 evils within these 2 surahs at the end of the Quran. Be conscious, be awake, be aware. What do we blindly believe? What have we unconsciously agreed upon? The 4 agreements of Miguel Ruiz. Be impeccable with your word. Do not take anything personally. Do not make any assumptions, and always do your best. See you on the next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.